On this episode, we pull the 20-something losers out of the basement and into the cold light of day. Welcome to Save Every Universe. My name is Alec Garcia. I am the scourge of the Nazi Empire, and only I can spark the Second American Revolution.
My name is Robbie. I'm a warrior from Star Road who has inhabited a popular children's doll in order to help restore the kingdom and defeat Smithy.
Nice. And with us today, we have a very special guest, probably the most specialist guest we've ever had, because it is your wife, sir.
It is indeed my wife.
Ashley, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I am a scorned lover, mother to many, a shapeshifter of the wilds, and I have taken an interest in directing the heroes of this age.
I don't know what that is, but that's very intriguing. I like it.
I know, because
you're married.
I was married to her. Yeah. Still am.
You were? Before this episode?
Just
before.
We got married right before this episode. No, just kidding. Last week, I was Bub and Bob from Bubble Bobble.
That's one of my favorite games, actually, when I was a kid. Snake Rattle and Roll and Bubble Bobble were two of my favorite NES games, actually, back in the day.
It was actually my idea that he chose that one.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's a good one.
And I looked it up and was like, oh, I remember this game. But
yeah, it was like my favorite. It was the first game I ever completed as a kid.
Oh, really?
Like, played all the way through. My brother and I did it. We were like obsessed with that game.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites when I was a kid, too. Last week I was Dorothy from SteamWorld Dig 2, which is, I just got on the Switch. It's like a cool little platformer about digging around and finding treasure and upgrading stuff and earthquakes. It's pretty cool. It's a good game. It's actually really, really solid. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. On today's episode, we are talking about a research report that came out from the Entertainment Software Association, their 2017 report. I guess every year they put out a thing of statistics of who gamers are, and it was very much not what most people think, and is not the stereotype of who people think of as a gamer. There's the sort of the stigma of the 20-something who lives with the mom and is down in the basement and that kind of thing. And according to this, that is very much not the person that we're going to be talking about. What have you on the docket today, Robbie?
Yeah, I thought maybe we should go through these statistics. And as I was reading, Alec had shown me this report, and I realized, I was like, I think Ashley is the majority of every single one of these statistics, which was crazy. I was like, well, I guess we better have her on. She's been begging to be on the show.
Because one of the statistics that like really jarred me, and like I found this thing interesting right away, was adult women represent a greater portion of the video game playing population, which is 31%, than boys under the age of 18, which is 18%. So that's a shocking statistic. I don't think most people, especially non-gamers, wouldn't believe that. But even as gamers, I thought that was kind of shocking.
I was like super shocked.
Yeah.
super shocked.
So you're, like Robbie said, you kind of hit all of these. Another one of them was that 67% of parents play video games with their children. And so, yeah, go ahead, and I just want to hear about a little bit about your experiences, Ashley, as a parent and as an over 30 woman as a gamer. Does these statistics surprise you?
I'm impressed with these statistics, and this study was really well done, because honestly, at first I was like, I think this can't be right. And then I looked at the study size of this, and they did 40,000 households, not even 40,000 people, like 4,000. Oh my gosh, that would be really impressive. 4,000, I'm sorry. 4,000 households, and looking at it, it seems legit. And I've taken quite a few statistics classes in college and stuff, so.
Yeah, and it said they surveyed the head of the household and then whoever was like the most frequent gamer within the household. So it sounds like they got a really comprehensive sample of data. Yeah.
And it feels like, to me, there are quite a few women out there. They are just in secret.
Right.
To me, it's like we're some secret club. There's a stigma about like men playing video games, like how not cool it is, but I feel like there's even stronger stigma for women who play video games. Like if you're a woman who plays video games, it's like assumed that you're some weirdo who does not fit in, and you're always trying to do something for attention.
Totally antisocial.
Yeah. There's like an even stronger stigma. So I feel like to meet another woman and actually have them confess that they play video games is pretty rare. Like if I meet another woman who plays video games, whether on a console or a PC, because I play games on both, I get really excited. Right. But to be fair, I'm not quick to profess it either. It's not like I'm like, hey, I'm Ashley Hart and I play video games. Like that is more like it comes out later. So
I would say though, and I think these statistics show it. It's kind of interesting to see that this is going away, and I'll tell you a kind of a funny story. I had an Xbox One backpack that we got from GameStop, actually for free. They were just like, here you go, this was left over. And Ashley was like, hey, I really need a backpack, so she started wearing it and carrying all the diapers around. It was like her diaper bag. We were walking through the grocery store, and the guy bagging the groceries was like, hey, don't I know you? Aren't you a gamer? And I thought he was talking to me, but he was not. He was talking to Ashley.
Yeah.
And she was like, what? And I guess he saw her backpack. And she's like, what do you mean? And he was like, aren't you on Twitter? Twitch? I feel like I've seen you playing on Twitch.
Oh, really?
And she was like, no, I think you're thinking of somebody else. He's like, oh, really? You look just like this famous girl who broadcasts on Twitch. And she was like, I can't believe like that just happened. And I was like, I can't believe that just happened. I'm always wearing like some video game shirt, some video game swag.
So were you surprised that he identified you like as a gamer? Like, were you like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer? Or what was your response to that?
I was at first mostly because I had forgotten that it was on my backpack. But I do identify myself as a gamer. It does throw me off if someone stopped me to talk about it. I'm very comfortable talking about it. I don't get a lot of opportunities because it's not like a hugely popular topic amongst women, because there is like a stigma there. And I feel like there's even stronger stigma against like women who let their kids play video games even. So I feel like it should be more of a public thing, because obviously according to this statistics, there's a lot more women out there and we're just being really quiet. We should step up. In fact, if any of you women are listening to this, please reach out to me because I would love to hear more about from you. I want some more women friends who play video games.
Well, and I think it was something that was kind of cool and that stuck out to me in that story was he didn't just think, oh, that lady probably just has that bag. Like he saw her, and even though everything else, like she wasn't wearing any type of gaming, anything else, he saw the bag and was like, that's got to be that girl from Twitch.
Right.
Whereas I think if I would have been a high schooler, you know, back when we were in high school a while ago, I would have been like, that mom is not a gamer. She's probably wearing her son's backpack. Like I would have not even imagined that she was actually a gamer.
You would have assumed that the backpack was someone else's and she was just using it or something.
There's no way I would have been like, I bet she plays Xbox or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are quite a few kids who were kids. I mean, we're all adults now who grew up playing video games. I mean, we are of the generation that grew up with Nintendo and Mario Kart, and we had PlayStations readily accessible. There's got to be a lot more kids like me who grew up playing video games with their brother, you know, and their dad. And I was like, video games are awesome.
Started playing video games on your own.
And then,
your own right.
And then just continued. Because I mean, I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. I first played video games on my dad's Commodore 64 back in the 80s, you know? So, like, I don't remember a life without video games. And I'm sure that there's plenty of women who are like that and then are like, of course, I'm going to let my kids play video games.
I played them when I was a kid and stuff.
I played and I want to play with them because it's fun.
So, speaking of that, actually, I want to ask you to power couple. It says 67% of parents play video games with their children at least once a week, and 71% of the parents feel that video games positively impact their child's life. And we've talked on two episodes now about just gaming and parenthood and being a gamer and being a parent. But I want to ask more specifically about that. Do you agree with that statement that it positively impacts your kids' lives? And if so, in what ways? Because I have a kid, but she's not old enough to play.
I think absolutely. I have to say, and maybe this is controversial, but I would much rather let my kids sit and play video games than sit and watch TV. You know, for the most part, TV is so brainless and they're not really actively participating. Sometimes they watch shows where they like do like a call and response and they, you know, have them respond to it. And,
to learn letters.
Yeah, and they like point out stuff because they're still pretty young. They're like 3 and 4.
Right.
But when they play video games, they're actively engaging. They're making problem-solving choices. I specifically pick out games for their tablets that I know are going to help them learn. And I feel like specifically all of these games really do, I don't know, they've learned a lot from tablet games specifically, from their sounds of their alphabet to shapes. I think that's going to carry over to Nintendo. Like I feel like it's helped Jack's motor skills so much, our oldest kid, because he's really good at Mario Kart, and it's really surprising how good he is.
And Robbie was saying he's even playing like Smash Brothers and Breath of the Wild and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and I've been impressed watching him play Breath of the Wild. Like one, he wants to learn how to read. He's like more motivated because he wants to read what's going on.
Follow the story, the text on the screen.
Yeah, he hates that he has to even ask me. Like he wants to just do it himself. And I've been impressed with like his puzzle solving. I've watched him do some of the harder shrines that I was like, do you need me to help you? Maybe I ought to just, and he's like, no, I got this. And I've watched him and he completes it. Or he's done like really complex fights of shooting through fire and lighting stuff on, lighting bad guys on fire and like trapping them and luring them. And I'm just like, this is really cool. And this is more complex than I thought. I probably couldn't have done some of this stuff at his age. I think it's kind of cool watching his imagination go with video games.
Right.
Like it's not just TV shows that he's pretending to be Link or he's pretending to be, you know, Mario or whatever. And it's cool seeing him as him and his brother play, they pretend to be like Mario characters, and they pretend to like do some of that stuff, like getting that involved in their imagination. I'm not going to say it replaces like reading, but I think I like it more than like a television influence.
Although I have to say, it does inspire them to want to read. Jack wants to read so bad, and he wants to read because of Zelda.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to read because of Pokemon. Yeah. He wants to play these games, and it really, really makes him want to read. Well, it's like in the back in the day, the kids used to read comic books to learn how to read, but I'm starting to find myself feeling like maybe video games are going to help kids learn how to read.
Yes. Well, I mean, like we've talked about it before, like with Zelda, Link to the Past and stuff like that. A lot of those, and Chrono Trigger and all those RPGs that we grew up with, they're all text based on the screen and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, we were reading probably more than most kids by playing video games. That's a great point. I hadn't thought about that actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you don't get that from TV.
Right.
You don't. Yeah, it's not like they're watching it with subtitles. I mean, sometimes you get some like bilingual or some of the more educational.
Well, even then
stuff.
you're just staring at the screen. There's a interaction barrier where you have to make text choices and those kinds of, so there is an interactive component that forces you to read and learn to read, or whatever.
You know, something else I kind of wondered with these statistics, I was looking through it, and do you think there's a chance that some of the young teenage crowd is playing less video games?
Interesting.
I was wondering more if it was less, like, there's just more women in general above the age of 18
there are more
who play
women.
Video games.
So, but they said...
I think that's true too, but if
gamers age 18 or older represent 72% of the video game playing population, and the average gamer is 35 years old. That's an interesting point, actually. I hadn't considered that.
But if it's
we grew up with video games, and the
it's probably a population size thing that there's just not as many. How long has video games been out now? If you think about when did Atari come out? It came out early 80s, right? Late 70s. And now how many of those people are now adults?
Right.
And the average age of that is now 35. While the population size of anyone younger than 18, they don't even have a chance to catch up unless there was a huge like boom in births.
Well, yeah, but statistically still though, if the trend was, if you were still cutting people up and all things being equal, I think there's no doubt that adults and women and everyone are playing more games. That's on the rise. But I am curious if there's also that's what my dad does, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that before on our episodes with Chris McHale about parenting and those kinds of things, and that is interesting. Anytime your parents are like doing something, like kids hit an age where they're like, oh, that's what my dad does, I don't want to do that. I mean, just like, you know, my dad like loves to watch golf and stuff, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, that drives me crazy. There's no way I'm doing that. That's what my dad does. So that is an interesting point. I'm not sure where you would get that data or how you would verify that, but that's it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
And I can
as
say,
we get older and our kids get older.
Right. I can say anecdotally that doesn't seem to be my experience. With, you know, like I was substitute teaching for a while. It seemed like there was still a lot of kids playing video games.
Well, I mean, but our video game culture, right, as friends, like, because we grew up mostly together for the most part, like it was very much like our thing, like in junior high and then going into high school. So it will be interesting to see when our children's generation reach that age where they're in middle school and high school, and what they choose to be those, like, what are going to be those nerdy things? Because for a while it was comic books in our previous generation, and then it was like tabletop gaming and D&D, and then video games that, you know, they're that's a good point.
And like superheroes now are so mainstream,
right?
Which I think is great.
Yeah,
but by the time Jack grows up, he's
going to be old school
what people did
stuff.
When I was a kid. Yeah. I mean,
although it probably will come back around though, because the statistics on here say that majority of parents, they're playing games with their kids at least once a week. So there is also kids much younger who are still playing games with their kids.
And that might just be part
week.
of like iPads, and just like there's more media. There's more digital platforms that are in everyone's hands and in everyone's homes all the time now, that it's like how those blend together, and playing a game on a tablet is just sort of part of life, even though that person, as they grow up, they might not classify themselves as a gamer, but everyone grew up gaming in some capacity just because it's everywhere, right?
Because I didn't classify myself as a gamer till late. More out of an embarrassment thing, though. Till really, really late.
So that's actually one of the questions I wanted to flesh out. Because I just didn't
like tell anyone, like in high school.
That's one of the questions I wanted to flesh out was, what is the difference between being somebody who plays games, because like we've talked about Candy Crush and all that, and identifies as a gamer. So yeah, if you want to go into that a little bit, because I think that's a difference of maybe somebody would play a game, maybe they play with their kid, but they're not going to go into GameStop and buy like a Resident Evil shirt or something like that. So
yeah,
what has that been like for you?
For me, I probably have always been a gamer, but if someone had handed me in high school when I was under 18 and said, here, fill out this survey, I would not have classified myself as a gamer.
Right.
You know, I was like doing off normal high school girls things, and then I would come home and play Baldur's Gate with my brother and things like that. And so I definitely was still playing video games. I mean, we even completed that game, but I would never have checked that box and said I'm a gamer. You know, I don't even know if I would have told anyone. I don't think even any of my friends in high school knew that I played video games. I mean, so which is a funny thing, and that could be happening with some of these people as
and
well.
And now here you are talking on the greatest video game podcast
ever made. What about you guys though? Like, when did you specifically say that you were a gamer? When were you like comfortable enough to proclaim it? Because there has been a stigma for a really long time. I mean, I probably didn't profess it comfortably until like maybe later college, even though I was playing like World of Warcraft and stuff. I didn't even go around and be like, I play World of Warcraft. Yeah, I'm in a guild. It's cool.
I don't remember it growing up like ever like. I guess I don't remember ever declaring myself like as a gamer, but if it came up, I would be like, oh yeah, no, me and my buddies did a LAN and we were like playing Halo and all this stuff. And I was on sports teams and stuff like that. And it was like immediately you could like draw a line down the middle of the team. And it was like, these people thought I was a freak. And these people were like, no man, I play Halo too. Like on the side, on the down low. And then like, there was a couple of guys I could like bring my Xbox on like the sports trips with and stuff, and like 3 or 4 of us would get together before the night before and like play a bunch of Halo or something like that. I don't remember like ever identifying myself really in high school as a gamer, but I also like I didn't hide it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I mean I've always been like gaming, and it's always been a pretty important thing to me, or something I've always did a lot, but I toned it down in high school probably when I was trying to get girls.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
I cranked up the rock and roll aspect. I was like always wearing rock and roll band shirts and like trying to, I'm a drummer and I'm so cool.
But we were dragging PCs over to each other's houses on the weekend.
Absolutely. We were doing huge Halo LANs, and that's really
Diablo
what we wanted
2 and
to
stuff.
do.
And
I mean, we were playing music too.
Yeah.
That wasn't a lie, but I certainly wasn't like out looking for some Mario shirt or anything like that. Whereas now I'm a lot more comfortable doing that.
I mean, like the whole question is kind of interesting, is like identifying as a gamer at all and defining your personality that way, because there are so many other things, right? Like that guy at the store was like, oh, you're a gamer, you must be that Twitch girl, and you're like, it's a diaper bag. Like, you know? And probably for all of us at the table, like you would put like parent like as an identifier, like as a more important identifier above like gamer or above. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, like in what context you like put out those social indicators of like I'm a gamer or I'm not a gamer. That's a good question.
When I've realized as I've gotten older too, it has had to be it's become kind of an important thing, because especially having kids, some other stuff falls away, and it's like, what is it I still do that's not being a parent?
Right.
One of those things is playing a video game.
It's playing video games.
And I
know. And people ask you, what do you do for fun? And then I still find myself being hesitant to tell other moms, like, well, I go home and I play Final Fantasy 14. And I really like to play Dragon Age. Like, and then, but then I know that I'm just gonna like get a expectation, like, oh, you don't like sit and knit and do something crafty. Like somehow that's better.
But you're like still sitting and you're still doing something or watching TV or whatever. We've talked about how there is like in the past, like there's an unfair bias against gaming in general. Like why is sitting in front, like why is watching a couple hours of Netflix not okay, but it is okay, but like gaming for is okay, but gaming for a couple hours is not. Like it's all relaxation and like recreation, right? And so why the bias against games?
Yeah, but I have found that as I've gotten older, I wear it a little bit more outwardly on my sleeve. Yeah. Literally, I put it on my Destiny shirt.
Oh, yeah. You're wearing Age of Triumph from D1. Yeah.
But it's also helped me kind of find like people who I'm more likely to consider kindred spirits now, right? Because finding like other dads who game and like, I'm like, oh, you've taken the time to do this. This is important to you. Maybe we'll have that camaraderie. Yeah. I mean, we've discussed in past episodes where they play like Madden, NFL, and I'm like, we're not going to get along. You know what I mean? That's okay. That's okay that they do that, but I just know that we're probably not going to connect on that.
Just kind of divide, I'm hoping that that's all changing now, because I mean, look at how many kids play video games now. Minecraft is so, I mean, you can play it at the library. They like have Minecraft clubs and groups, and
because
Minecraft
there are good
is like
problem solving and creativity.
And that's even a PC game,
right?
You know,
well, it was.
Well, I mean, now you can also play on everything. Yeah, and they've got like the story Minecraft version and stuff. But I remember my little cousins having Game Boys and being like, "Yeah, of course I have a Game Boy," and being super comfortable with it. And they're like 10 years younger than me, and being like, "Oh my gosh, you're just like you and all of your little friends have Game Boys. That's so cool." Like, I mean, God, it's a DS. Sorry, it's not a Game Boy, and it wasn't even a Game Boy then. I think it was an Advanced, but like I was like.
If it was an Advance, I think it was a Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance.
But I still call it Game Boy, sorry.
But once it was the DS.
Oh, maybe it was Game Boy Advance. I still call them all Game Boys.
Switch is basically a Game Boy.
Where's my Game Boy? Damn it, Grandpa.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like becoming like more and more normal. Like my little cousin was not a weird geeky girl or anything. She was like seemed like pretty normal, and all of her friends owned like little pink Game Boys. Yeah. So it's like, hooray! Maybe girls are winning at this video game thing. Maybe the percentage will be a lot higher than 35% in like another 20 years.
What's going to be kind of cool too if you see like, because there was like a little bit of that, if you were a nerdy dude and you're like, you're a girl and you play games, that's cool. It almost will maybe more acceptable and not even like it's not going to be a unicorn thing possibly, right? If you're a teenage boy and you're like, she plays games like every other girl.
Or at least 30%.
And plus, she's a lot better than me and I suck. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be an interesting change in dynamics from what we grew up with.
Yeah, 1 in 3, that's a dramatic shift.
That's huge. And that's girls and peers and people from our age group. Yeah. Which is weird because I don't feel like that would have been true when we were younger. Right. Or maybe it was and they just weren't talking about it, like Ashley said. Because I don't feel like the girls we went to high school with, like 1 in 3 of them were playing games. Yeah. Do you?
No.
We're all about the same age. We actually all graduated the same year.
Yeah. So I can't think of a girl, maybe like one, but she was kind of a weird girl.
But most of the time now when I accidentally run into another video game woman, they're not weird.
Right.
They're really not. And I'm always like, that's awesome.
So, but that's a good point. Like maybe they were playing games all along
and just bring it up. Yeah.
That's what I wonder. I mean, we knew Ashley in high school. Right. I didn't know she was playing games. Yeah, exactly. I would have thought she was a band nerd. Yeah. But not a gaming nerd.
Ashley, thank you so much for being here. Do you have any final closing wrap-up thoughts for us on this?
I'm feeling surprisingly inspired to be like more proclaim that I'm a gamer as a woman. I'm like, man, we really need to step up. 35%. Yeah. That's a really high percent. That means there's way more of us than we think. Like, and we're just being all afraid because of silliness when it's clearly not even true. Yeah. Yeah. Be brave, women. We can do this.
Well, and don't sell yourself short. I mean, you've talked about our podcast. You help us edit it. You even like walk up to strangers and hand out our business card. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be doing that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if you like our Facebook page, like Ashley does all of that. She makes the graphics. She finds all the cool memes, all the good videos and stuff.
She's also doing
that's not us. That's her.
Our Pinterest. Yeah. If you So
I'm like the behind the scenes lady.
Yeah. So it's not like you're exactly sitting on your laurels, but yeah, I agree. I think it's cool. I think it's surprising, and I hope I haven't said stupid things in the past where I like treated a girl like, you wouldn't get it, I'm a gamer or something, and like it turns out she was too or something. But either way, I'm excited. I think it's cool to see the like rise. I hope we can get to the point where it's not weird to hear a girl like on a mic, because it's still now kind of weird. We don't have to get into that right now.
There's just so many trolls, man.
And there's so many trolls, and people are so
that
mean.
is a big deal.
And
still, being a woman.
Yeah, we might have to have you back for that episode.
Yeah, because I like don't talk. Don't even bother.
Gamergate and all that stuff. But I hope that we're getting past that. The fact that a lot of these issues have arisen in not that long ago makes me think we still have a long ways to go. Yeah. But these statistics are encouraging.
It might be getting better though, because there's like a lady who does really, I wish I remembered her name. We'll have to put it in the notes. But there's a lady who does really, really great video tutorials for things for Final Fantasy 14. Mm-hmm. And she's a girl and she's super smart. Yeah. Clearly they're really fantastic tutorials, very clear. Right. And it's a girl. Yeah. And that would have like never happened before. Right. So
what about you? Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I just think it's cool. I think we accomplished sort of the premise we set out to achieve about bringing the young 20-something out of the basement, because like that's not who gamers are. No. And these statistics are great. It's theesa.com, THEESA.com if you want to go check these out for yourself. It really is quite amazing. It's adults with jobs who are responsible people who game because they like to game, and they have kids and they have lives, and they're this we didn't even talk about this one, but 53% game for social reasons. Yeah. So all the antisocial, all that myths. Hopefully we busted all the stupid myths that are out there a little bit. And that's it.
Yeah, it's exciting. Stuff. And if you're listening, you're probably one of these people too. Yeah. Right. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, and we'll put a link to this on our Facebook too.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being here, Ashley.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you for listening to Save Every Universe. If you enjoyed this episode, please go give us money, lots of money, at patreon.com/Save Every Universe.